Hey guys, it's Michelle with Deception Bytes, and I am back with more Q posts. Q dropped some more posts today, so we are going to get right into those. And just one second till I find out where we left off last time. I should have done this in advance, shouldn't I? That's just, I don't know, rude. Okay, now we're going to do this post up here first because an anonymous user on 8chan posted this, and then Q responded to them. So it's important that we read this. Now, this anonymous user today posted this. And it was a Trump by, it was a Trump. It wasn't a Trump. It was actually a tweet by Trump, a Trump tweet. And he posted this at 4:39 in the morning. And he's an early riser. And then little Adam Schiff here, he he made his response, which I actually find a little bit amusing because I really don't like this man. I mean, I really don't like him. Okay, first is President Trump's tweet, and he says, "Little Adam Schiff, who is desperate to run for higher office, is one of the biggest liars and leakers in Washington, right up there with Comey, Warner, Brennan, and Clapper. Adam leaves closed committee hearings to illegally leak confidential information. Must be stopped." And then little Adam Schiff responds. Oh, he's such a tough guy. "Mr. President, I see you've had a busy morning of executive time. Instead of tweeting false smears, the American people would appreciate it if you turned off the TV and helped solve the funding crisis, protected dreamers, or really anything else." Wow, he's got a lot of nerve, doesn't he? I guess he doesn't know what's coming, does he? Because really, do you really think that President Trump would tweet that if he didn't have significant information on little Adam Schiff? Well, like somebody else said, and I can't remember where I read this, when Trump starts calling you a nickname, ooh, that's not good news. Not good news at all. So I think that little Adam Schiff, well, the Schiff's going to be hitting the fan. And then, after these two tweets, this anonymous user posted this as well. And it is a former tweet by Q from December 10th, 2017. And it says, "Blunt and direct time. Adam Schiff is a traitor to our country, leaker, national security, evil, TikTok. Hope the 7.8 million was worth it. Enjoy the show. Q." Now, Q happened to see that and responded today. And he aimed it at this person above here, and he said, would POTUS make a serious accusation if the truth wasn't about to come to light? No, we wouldn't. Because, you can say what you want about Donald Trump, but he's not stupid. He is not. He's a brilliant man. I don't care what anybody says. And everyone treats him like he's a clown, like he's some sort of idiot. He's not. He's brilliant. Okay, so then he says, Black Forest, Austria, Rothschild, fire sale days after post. What went on there? Dopey. You have more than you know. Now, who is Dopey again? That is Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, and we know that because of former Q posts. So we already have the answer to that, and we can move on from there. And we're going to be getting to the rest of this in further posts on up. So I'm going to leave this for now because we're going to be touching on all this. And here we're traveling up. All right, now Q is actually referencing his own post below, and he says it again. Would POTUS make a serious accusation if truth wasn't about to come to light? No. Black Forest, we're about to find out what all that's about. Austria, that too. Rothschild, that too. Fire sale days after post, that too. What went on there? Don't know, but I sure do have some suppositions. Dopey, you have more than you know. Q. Now, like I said before, he visits us again, so we're not gonna get into it right here. We're gonna get into it when he's got a lot more in the mix there. And that would be right here. So, here we go. Take a deep breath because we're about to get all up in this, rolling around in it. Okay. Why did the memo drop? And it should be on a Friday. He left out, a word there. We'll forgive him this time, but if it happens again, I don't know. Why did the memo drop on a Friday and before the Super Bowl? Well, actually, I wondered that myself. I really did. I thought the memo was going to be out before now, and now it's like Friday. It's coming out on a Friday. Why Friday? Well, I think because, maybe, I don't know who was holding it up, but if the Democrats were holding it up, maybe they wanted it buried in the weekend news cycle, especially all the Super Bowl hoopla, because everything on Super Bowl weekend is Super Bowl, Super Bowl. And that's what everybody's thinking about. That's what everybody's excited about. And Sunday, that's what everybody's watching. So, the news kind of isn't as important. However, I think it was still pretty important because everywhere I looked, it was all over the news. So it's interesting because some news had it right and some news were spinning it, of course. So, did this seem strange to you? Yep. Yeah, it did. Watch the news. Okay. Rothschild estate sale. Oh, Rothschild estate sale. What's that all about? And Black Forest. Well, the estate is near the Black Forest. And what estate is that? Well, it's this one. I'm not going to go out to this one. Maybe I will. You talked me right into it. Rothschild family sells large Austrian hunting estate. Oh, pay attention to that. Hunting estate. And it is a large one. I think it's 13,000. This says 7,000 right here, but I think that this is an advertisement for something else because I know it's 13,000 square feet. Or 13,000 square acres, and it's 5,412 hectares. And that, of course, is metric, which all of Europe is on, and Canada, for some odd reason. You would think that Canada would be on the imperial system with the U.S., but no, we have to be different. Okay, now, let me see if there's anything else in here. Not really, so I'm going to go to the other one. You ready? Of course you are. You were born ready. Okay, let's go to this one. It's Bloomberg. Okay, Rothschild sell Austrian hunting estate in a historic deal. Historic. And actually, I play around, but it is really historic. This is actually huge, like really huge news. Because first of all, it doesn't make sense, and I'll tell you why. They've had this in their family for, I think it goes into it here somewhere, 128 years, I think. The Rothschild family sold an Austrian forestry and hunting estate, including a stately lodge and power plants, in what the broker called a historic transaction in continental Europe. At 13,000 acres, the grounds above the 2 hour west of Vienna are 16 times as big as New York's Central Park. They were sold by Rothschild heirs, Nancy Clarice Tigman and Gregory R. Hogert. Might be Hoget. Hoget. Real estate broker Klaus Bischoff. Ooh, you don't want to say that. It must be Biscoff. Said in an interview. Okay, so let me see here. This type of transaction happens once in a century in a family like the Rothschilds, he said. We saw big interest from entrepreneurs from Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. The owners, both living in the U.S., decided to sell the Langau estate near the town of Gaming to the Austrian Prinzhorn family because the buyers promised to keep and develop the forestry in the Lower Austria province. The family of entrepreneurs, Cord and Thomas Prinzhorn, had net worth of 1.1 billion euros, 1.37 billion US dollars, according to 2016 estimates by Austria's Trend magazine. Excuse me. I consider any transaction above 1,000. Okay, well, we don't care what you think. Now, let me see anything else here. I think it goes into I know it's been in their family. It's 125 or 128 years. It's a long time. And it's a little bit odd to me that they would be selling it. So what gives? Well, we're going to visit that. So let's go back. Here we are. So let me just touch on something here, okay? It's in the Black Forest. Now, he goes down here, like first he talks about the stock market. We'll get to that. But he says, Dopey freed. Now, that's Prince Al-Walid bin Talal. Now, do you remember the post where he said he was talking about Prince Al-Walid being, freed? And then he said something about the Black Forest, and we thought, well, maybe he's in the Black Forest. Well, that doesn't make sense. And I was looking for military installations in that area, and everything. And because that's how it read to me, that's where he was. Well, maybe he was. But this is the interesting thing, okay? Now, Q said that Al-Walid was in the Black Forest, or at least that's how I interpreted it. That's how most people interpreted it. Was this a jab? Because this location has been said to have hunting parties. Now, I'm not talking about hunting deer and little antelopes and, I'm talking about hunting human beings. This has been alleged for a very long time. There are credible witnesses that have come forward saying that there have been, and I don't know. I found a picture online, and I've lost it now from my computer, and I'm glad, because I don't think I would have wanted it on my computer, because it was actually quite horrifying, and I got it from someone's Twitter. So actually, if you go through I really don't ever tweet, but I am on Twitter under Mishel, Mishel, D, capital D, and then Bytes. And if you go down the list of people that I follow, you'll probably find it. I can't remember. It was a very odd name. I just remember it was a very odd foreign-sounding name. Anyway, there's a picture on there about this guy standing over this dead black child, and this was not staged. This was obviously a dead black child, and he had his pants pulled down like he'd been raped beforehand, and he was standing there with a rifle over him, just like somebody would if they had downed a deer. And it literally, my stomach literally flip-flopped, and I couldn't get it out of my head for hours and hours, and it's still, even talking about it, bringing it back. So I was going to show it, but I'm not. Number one, I might get booted from YouTube. Number two, it was upsetting to me, very upsetting. Now, they had the eyes blacked out so that you couldn't really identify the little boy, but he was a little boy, and it just, I don't know, it did something to me. And so anyway, they do have these hunting parties, and I don't know, was he kind of jabbing at Al-Walid? Was he saying, yeah, we're going to drop you off in the Black Forest because I'm sure he knows what's in the Black Forest. I'm sure he knows that the Rothschild estate's there. I'm sure he's been there very, like, a lot of times. I'm sure of it. Otherwise, Q wouldn't have been saying that. Okay, so maybe it was like a little jab saying, yeah, that's what we're going to do with you. We're going to drop you off at a hunting party. You're going to be the hunted. We're going to do to you what you did to those little boys. I don't know. I don't know. It's possible. I'm not saying that that is the interpretation. I'm just saying it's possible. But there's no escaping the fact that Rothschilds had an estate there, that it is rumored that they had hunting parties, and it is very close to the Black Forest. So there you go. And then it has something to do with Prince Al-Walid bin Talal because he's bringing it up again. So there's something there. Now, here he's saying, stock market dive, 666. Coincidence? Now, it fell 666 points on February 2nd. The last big drop, and I don't know how many years ago that was, but it was a lot. The last big drop was like 777. So it's interesting, these two numbers. But what Q is saying here is that this is their signature. It's not a coincidence. In other words, that's what Q is saying. And he's saying Soros, transfer of wealth. Now, remember that with the executive order that was signed December 21st, I believe, that people that are involved in illicit activities like, I don't know, trafficking, human trafficking, things like that, they can confiscate their wealth. And I really think that these people are moving stuff around. I really do. Because, well, I got thinking about it and I thought, okay, if whoever owns this estate, I mean, it is the Rothschilds, it's one of their own that own it, if they have something on that person and they had reason to confiscate their wealth, then that estate would be, handed over to whoever. And if there was all sorts of illicit activities that had happened there, is it possible that that would be found out? Because there's got to be mass graves there. I don't know what they do with the bodies. I have no idea. I don't even want to know. But I don't know. I'm just, thinking out loud here. And so Soros, transfer of wealth. Dopey, freed. Now, this is interesting. Marriage for power, not love. What he's saying is that the DNC's billionaire elite control the politics and direction of nations, and they marry for power, not for love. And then he gives us some examples. Hilton, Roth. So Nikki Hilton married, or is going to marry, I'm not sure if they're married yet or not, someone else can correct me on that, James Rothschild. Okay, so Nikki Hilton and James Rothschild. Okay, I know they're engaged. Now, I think they're married, but I'm not sure. Soros, Clinton. Well, Chelsea Clinton, which of course Chelsea is not, belongs to Hillary, but she does not belong to Bill. And I did not believe that when I first heard it until I saw the person that they claimed was her father. And I went, oh my gosh, it's like, it's really evident. Really evident. So anyway, Chelsea Clinton is married to George Soros' nephew, Mark. And Mark Mezvinsky. And so the Clintons staying at Soros' family home during Chelsea's wedding. They're awfully cozy, right? The Clintons stayed at their home during her wedding. And now, Mark and Chelsea are in their early 30s. Okay, that's young. But yet, they purchased a $10.5 million New York City apartment after being married in George Soros' mansion. Don't think they're, hard up for money. But let me see if this I can't remember if this has pictures or not. Hang on. Hurry up. internet has been so slow. Oh, isn't he a lovely fellow? I'd love to have him over for tea and crumpets. Okay, well that doesn't tell us much, except that they stayed at the Soros family home during Chelsea's wedding. Well, we know that. So, bye-bye. So, let's go back here, see what else I have. And he puts etc. because, okay, it's Hilton, Roth, Soros, Clinton, etc., saying that there's others. It's just he's used those for examples because everybody knows about them. So he says news unlocks map. And the map, of course, is the graphic of the Q posts, which has been put together in a large graphic. All I do is I go out and I take it into and put it into a Word document so that I can make my own notes. Then he says, think mirror. And I'm perplexed about that. I don't know exactly what he means. And it may be in future posts that'll become more clear. I don't know. But if you have any ideas, be sure to share them in the comments. And after that, he says, which team? News unlocks map. Think mirror. Which team? They don't know. Now, I don't know. I don't know what he's saying here, unless they don't know which team is going to win the Super Bowl. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me, though. Why would he be saying that? I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe he's talking team as in their team, our team. I don't know. Any thoughts, please share. You're welcome to share your thoughts, even if they're diametrically opposed to mine. That's what sharpens us all, because I am often wrong. And there are good people that go in and correct me, and nicely. And that's fine, because we all need one another. Okay, they don't know. And then Apache. We see this before. We've seen this, at least a couple times in his posts, and here it is again. But, interesting note, okay? Perhaps he means this, since that was all financial, right? He was talking about financial stuff right there. Well, Apache Company, APA Holdings, reduced by Rothschild Investment Corp. They decreased their stake in Apache Company by 31.8% during the fourth quarter, according to its most recent disclosure with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The fund owned 6,736 shares of the energy company's stock after selling 3,145 shares during the quarter. Rothschild Investment Corporation holdings in Apache were worth $284,000 as of its most recent security filing. Okay, so that's not a lot of money, especially to the Rothschilds. So what's going on there? I don't know. But it's interesting. I'm not the best person to talk to you about financial stuff like stocks and bonds and all that stuff. I really, really want to know more. I really want to know more. And it's something that I intend to study. But I'm not the best person to ask about that. So I don't know. But this is found on stocknewstimes.com. But probably if you Google Apache and Rothschild, you'll come up with this. So I don't know. Could it be related? Because we were here talking about the Rothschilds, right? They were. Q was talking about. Let me see. What all was he talking about here? He was talking about the memo, and then the Rothschild estate. See, all of this is connected. he's not being he's not that disconnected. He would start another post if he was going to go on to a different topic. So all of this is connected. Um, and I think the stock market was meant to be a sign to POTUS. And, and then he's talking about marriage for love. He's talking about money here, really. And then he says Apache. So Apache, one of these things just doesn't belong here, and it would be Apache, unless he was talking about something financial, don't you think? I don't know. But then he says, these people are evil. Well, we know that. Still don't believe you are sheep to them? Oh, I sure do. And 2020 coming. Now, the saying, hindsight is 2020. So what does he mean by 2020 is coming? Well, I think he means that once something is dropped, because there's more than one memo. There's more stuff to come out. Hindsight's 2020. We're going to know. And then that news is going to unlock the map. Public is vital. Yes, it is. Release of information is vital. Yes, it is. Getting this info out is vital to incite, and that should be not incite, but incite. No, that's not right either. I'm having a brain. Incite public outrage, which will lead to justice. Because once the information is out there, people are going to get outraged. Well, those that believe it. Now, there's always going to be a few snowflakes that are going to be like, I don't believe it. It was the Russians. There's always going to be those people. Those people. Anyway, I won't say that because it's mean. But, and that's going to lead to outrage, right? And that outrage is going to lead to justice, right? And then can we simply arrest the opposition without first exposing the truth? No. You know why? Because, this memo has just come out and you've got all these people running around saying stuff like, I know it was the Russians. Trump made that up. Seriously. And I'm like, are you brain dead? But I don't know. Anyway, that's why all this truth has to come out first, and then they can arrest the opposition. There's still too much disinfo to be able to outright arrest the opposition. And then he says, follow the light. And he signs off. Cute. I should put a post together of all the stupid things that have been said, because I am seeing stuff and I'm like, no way. There is no way that person actually believes that. But they do. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Now, is this one referring to this one? Hang on 1 second. Got to make sure that I'm doing it in the right order. So that, yep, we're okay. All right, 666. And that, of course, is the stock market drop on Friday. Their signature to show POTUS they're in control of the markets. And then he asks, is that a signal to POTUS that they control the market? Well, yeah, of course. Signal? Yeah, signal. It was meant to be a sign to him, a threat. And then he says, threat? Yeah, threat. Welcome to the global war. And, the thing is, I know Americans, and I lived there long enough, and will be living there again soon. Americans are very ethnocentristic. They are, and I don't mean that as a slam against Americans. I love Americans, and I consider myself American, even though I was born in Canada. I'm an adopted American. So, they think that everything is kind of happening in the bubble of the U.S., but these markets are global. Okay, it's not just the markets in the United States that are affected. In fact, I didn't even know about this, but I was in a store today and I saw these two older men, and they were just, talking each other's hind legs off, and they were talking about, I've lost everything out of, and like seriously, I didn't know what they were talking about, and I thought, gosh, what's happened? And then I had a friend, as soon as I walked in the door, called and said, have you looked at the stock markets? And I said, no. And he said, well, you better look. And he was just, really, really upset about this. And I understand that, but I didn't know anything about it. But this does not just affect the U.S. markets. See, those two men are Canadian. It affects them. It affects people in Japan and wherever. So, yeah, it's global. So, let's go on. Now, the next one, imagine this. Okay, raw intel collection. Now, this should be in red. I don't want you to think that that's Q saying that, because it isn't. And this, and then I'll make this a little bit bigger for you people that are squinting at your phone. The phone squinters. Okay, imagine this. Raw intel collection, narrative feeder, narrative collectors, narrative distributors, leaks, classified, payments. So, what's he saying? Raw intel collection. Well, they had the ability through the NSA to collect raw intel on just about anybody they wanted to, right? Narrative feeder. Well, that intel acts as the feed that they're going to feed people, right? They're going to feed that. So it's the feed. Narrative feeder. So it's the feed for the narrative. Narrative collectors. Well, who are the narrative collectors? Well, that would be once they have this raw intel, it acts as the feed. They take that feed, they give it to the narrative collectors. Well, who would that be? That's the people that own the news agencies and the media outlets. Okay, it's given to them. They're the narrative collectors. And then who are the narrative distributors? Well, those are the network talking heads, and many of them are CIA themselves, which we now know, which we've long suspected, but now know. Leaks. Well, classified information is leaked in return for what? Payments. Okay, so leaks, classified, payments. Classified information is leaked in return for payments. Where do those payments go? Well, they go into foreign accounts. Payments are made into foreign accounts so that they cannot be readily traced. And then cash. Well, of course you're going to pay them in cash. If you're paying somebody for something like that, you're not going to write them a check, So they pay them in cash because cash can't be traced. Spook files, and these are essentially CIA files. So they're spook files, right? And hotels. Well, we know that the hotels play a part in all this. Like hotels like the Standard are used to set people up so that they can be blackmailed. So, they might have their little parties, their pizza parties at these hotels. They may photograph and keep those and say, look, you know what? You're going to do this, or we're going to leak this. So that's used for blackmail. Now, Q asks, how do you retain freedom of the press if those in front of the camera that are trusted by select viewers are extensions of the arm? What arm? Well, the CIA. Well, there is no freedom of the press if the press are CIA assets, and they are. So we have no freedom of the press. There is no freedom of the press. And then Q says, freedom of the press is vital to retain. Well, yeah, because there can literally be no freedom without freedom of the press. We're not even getting the right information. We're living in, if you've ever read the book 1984, and I would suggest you probably read it when you were in high school, but please, if you are able to, you can get it at a used bookshop for next to nothing. You can buy a used book on Amazon probably for pennies. Please reread it, because we're living there right now. We seriously are living there right now. That book is absolutely classic. And I'm not just saying that because I'm into literature. Well, maybe I am. So freedom of the press is vital to retain. Trust the plan. And obviously that's the plan that POTUS, trust that POTUS has a plan. There are a lot more good than bad, and that's what Q keeps telling us. I hope he's right. You, the people, need to remember how to play. And I think that it's important that we know, and he tells us down here, you, the people, have the power. And you know what? We do. There's more of us than them. There really is. And we do have more power than we think. We have been hoodwinked into sitting back and doing nothing. But look what happened when we all got together with the memes and the tweets when we were saying release the memo and all, and then it forced them to come up with a stupid narrative. It's the Russian bots. There's Russian bot farms. I mean, it's ridiculous, but think of that. We forced them to come up with that garbage, and it made them look stupid. It really made them look stupid. So, I mean, not that, they regularly do that themselves, but, yeah, you, the people, need to remember how to play. We have more power than we think. You, the people, have the power. Yes, we do. There's more of us than them. We strike every single day. And what he means by that, I believe, he's either saying that there's strikes every day that we don't see. They're doing things every day that we don't see. Or we strike every day, meaning, with our memes, with our, trying to open people's eyes. And it could be a combination of all of that. We win every single day. Every single day they are being destroyed, literally. And I think, it is a joint effort because there's a lot of people becoming awake now, more so than ever before. And at least they're starting to listen. They're starting to say, you know what, there might be something to this, and then he says, stay strong, have faith. This is bigger than anyone can imagine. Q. Now, I believe that to be so, because even just the stuff that's come out, I mean, it's long been suspected, but, it's big. Now, this is the last post today, unless he's been posting while I've been talking, and that is always a possibility. So, this says, Think Progress, verified account at Think Progress, 6 minutes ago. More. Now, this is actually referring to a Twitter account, Think Progress. They tweeted out this this news article, which when I went out and looked at the stuff that they were posting, I was like, oh my gosh. They do have a website, and it's thinkprogress.org, and they, Q said, why is mainstream media allowed to lie? Well, that's a darn good question. Why are they allowed to lie? Because I'll just take you out to this article. I'm not going to read it because Q's already told us it's a lie, and we know it's a lie, so there's no sense in us reading it. But I will take you out there and show you what this tweet is referring to. Internal FBI documents show White House lied about Comey firing. Comey was widely loved by the Bureau rank and file, not the grandstander Trump claimed. And Q is saying, why are they allowed to lie? Well, I don't know. Why are they allowed to lie? Why did they get away with this? I don't get it. I mean, we're not allowed to tell the truth, but they're allowed to lie. Interesting. So that's about, I think I had something else here. Hang on. I think I had a second page with something on it, if I remember correctly. Yes. Now, Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, I don't know why, but a lot of people don't call him President Trump, and I need to get into the habit of calling him President Trump because he is our president. So he was speaking in, I believe, Ohio, and during his speech, that's when the Dow fell the most. That was the biggest drop, like right in the middle of his speech. So it's interesting because apparently his speech, literally on wherever, I don't know if it was Fox or CNN, but it was interrupted, to talk about the stock, and he was right in the middle of saying how good the economy was and blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden he's interrupted and they say, oh, the stock market's tanking. So they did that to embarrass him, because that's his big, he's got boasting rights to that. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He's really helped the economy. And so he's there and he's talking about that, and then all of a sudden the stock market tanks. Well, doesn't look too good. So anyway, now, okay, yes. This is something strange that was posted. Very, very strange. And it was posted by an anonymous user, and it was posted Friday. And it's interesting, and I just want you to see it because it's strange. Now, he's saying, folks, every leader of the world knows what's going on. Let me give you facts of our work. And if numbers mean anything to you, let me provide a partial list of who backs us in our endeavors. Now, when this person's saying us, they're talking about the other side, not Donald Trump, not Trump, the Patriots. That's not who they're talking about. They're talking about the other side, the cabal. Okay? Let me give you the facts of our work, and if numbers mean anything to you, let me provide a partial list of who backs us in our endeavors. The heads of 70 countries, the finance ministers and all of their counterparts of those countries, the Queen of England, the security agencies, i.e. MI5, MI6, MI9, CIA, Pentagon, Department of Defense, NSA, Joint Chiefs of Staff, the banking industry worldwide, the Federal Reserve, the good guys, well, who they're calling the good guys are not, the Black Caucus, 40% of the Democratic vote, a majority of the House of Representatives, a majority of the Senate, a vast majority of the administration, and the list goes on. Many of us have fought for the last year to have this completed, and here is the toll between us and them. On our immediate side, we have no casualties. On the middle side, Christopher Story lost his life. Added note, Christopher Story is alive according to our sources, but in hiding. KC, not sure who KC stands for. On their side, over 100 arrests worldwide, lockdown of over 100 trillion of illegal fiat funds, identification of approximately more than 500 trillion worth of accounts that qualify, charting of the persons and financial systems that have been utilized in the frauds, collection of tens of thousands of documents that indict former presidents of the United States on both sides of the Republican-Democratic squabble, including payments to Biden, Geithner, Emanuel, and many high-level politicians that you elected to government to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. We have extracted information and collected all of the necessary information to impeach Obama for bribery, taking payoffs, and other indictable issues. We have reams of documents and information that would indict all of the past presidents, and in one case, a wife, and that would be Hillary. We have survived numerous death threats, but yet we are determined not to quiver even for a moment in time. We have bankers, lawyers, politicians, meaning the ones we don't have in the Senate and Congress due to their payoffs in multiple countries. We have all the direct intel of the flight that left on September 4th of this year with the 6 people on board, that we have the minute-by-minute agenda of the 7-week itinerary, including the results of that trip and the effects on this country. Hang on. Joe Biden is directly implicated in all of this as a direct participant, including all of the payoffs he has received from a former president. Rahm Emanuel left office as we got to him, and he spilled his guts. Ever wonder why he wasn't around for the 2 months prior to his leaving office, including all of the payoffs he has received from a former president? Tim Geithner has wanted out for a while now, but will not be released from duty as he is asked to be by tendering his resignation and having it rejected, including all of the payoffs from a former president. We have all of the details of the trip Mrs. O took to Spain and the bank she did a transaction with. We have the finest of our top operatives going from country to country following the Obama trail. So the top is them, what they have, and the bottom is the Obama Patriot side. Just thought that was a very odd post and not sure what to think of it, but I'd be more than happy to hear what you all think of it. So And here is something else that you may or may not have heard of it. This is called the Dilley Intel Drop. Now, Dilley apparently is running for something in Arizona. He's running for office for something. And I don't know what to think about this, but apparently he's been dropping intel too. And I don't know. I found this one it was tweeted by somebody, so I copied it. But I need to go out and find the rest of it because this says part 2. So got to be a part 1. Maybe there's a part 3 and 4. I don't know. So let me just read that to you real quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Okay, Dilley Drop. Okie dokie, Dilley Drop. That makes it kind of sound hard to take seriously. But anyway, the content of the wiretap is amazing. Can only share this one portion, not cleared to do the rest yet. Touches on people without clearance involved and being shown top secret intel. They were passing along the most sensitive intelligence that you can receive in government, and they were allowing average Joes with no security clearance to read it. This other part is really bad. Cannot read it yet. Aroused anger. But it will give you the most respect for the President of the United States. Inspector General report. Unbelievable. It's going to take a while. Not confirmed when it will be released, but it's a shocker. Gallows being built. Uranium 1 section in Iran. Stuff is beyond comprehension. This is what sources telling Dilley. It goes back really far. See, apparently there's some intel source that's giving Dilley information, and he's dropping this intel. That's what I understand. So it goes back really far. As said before, you will be facing observing is going to be military tribunals for those at the top, because treason and sedition are punishable by death, and that is not to be tried in a normal everyday courtroom. This is to be tried in a military courtroom. However, also mentioned 13,600 sealed indictments, now of which we don't know how, I think it means how many people that actually is. Of which we don't know how many people that actually is. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me, but there will be multiple RICO cases. Why is that significant? Why does that sound familiar to me? I was just reading about that lately. Fun fact about RICO. There is no statute of limitations. So if you broke the law, part of organized crime back in 1975, and the evidence is found in 2018, you're getting charged. You can't outrun a RICO case. In a RICO case, you can be sentenced, maybe not to death, but life imprisonment. We're going to have a really big RICO case, probably 2 of them, maybe more. This is organized crime. Media is complicit. Dilley covered some information specific to the Arizona District 8 congressional race he's in. McCain has got major problems, and that's all that I've got. But I'll keep looking into that, and I think I'm just going to go out here real quick and Google that because it sounds so familiar to me. Oops, not Rocco, Rico. Rocco's his brother. Okay, it's the Racketeer Influenced and Corruption Organization Act. Okay. Commonly referred to as the RICO Act, or simply RICO. And it's United States federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties and a civil cause of action for acts performed as part of an ongoing criminal organization. So that's interesting. So I don't know. I don't know about this whole Dilley thing. I've got to look into that, but it looks legit to me because it looks like a lot of people that I respect are getting information there. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up for tonight so I can get this uploaded, and I thank you all for listening. I really appreciate you guys. Please, if you want to stay subscribed to my channel, make sure that you are still subscribed, because they are unsubscribing people to my channel left, right, and center. And they're doing it to me because people that I like to listen to, I'm being unsubscribed from them, and it's really irritating me. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.